大家好，我是 Oliver Branchdown. So as a personal trainer, I've come across clients who come see me who want to improve their health and fitness. However, there's an inherent contradiction, and that is they don't often want to do what is required of them to live a healthier life, because apparently it takes the joy out of life. For example, I have a male client who wants to lose X kilograms of fat, and they have really high triglyceride levels. But he really loves drinking wine. Asking him to stop drinking wine is like asking him to cut off his arm. He literally said, "I would rather die." I assumed he was just being hyperbolic, but he reaffirmed me that he was serious and that he would rather drink wine and live 15 years less than to live to 100 and not have any wine at all. I've come to realize that a lot of people actually have this sentiment, and perhaps even you may feel that same way too. Now, even if you ask me to give up something that I really love for the rest of my life just to live a few years longer, then I might have the same reaction too. I'm not here to lecture you on how you should live your life, but it's never been about living a healthy life to live as long as possible. The goal in my mind has always been about living the highest quality of life, and you simply can't live a high quality life without your health. What I love doing is playing tennis. Just the idea of going out to see my friends playing outdoor tennis gives me a rush of dopamine that makes life just feels awesome. When I can't play tennis, the quality of my life takes a hit. Let's geek out for a little bit now and look at this on a 2x2 matrix. If we look at the graph below, you'll see that there are 4 quadrants. Quadrants 1 and 2 typically look at ancient and medieval times for most of mankind who lived a very short, tough, disease-ridden life that are full of violence and a lot of premature deaths. Or people who just don't really care about living a long life. But I don't think either of these quadrants really apply to you, my audience. Quadrant 3 is where most of us are at, and that's with the miracles of modern medicine that are able to extend our lifespan into our 70s, 80s, and even 90 years old with the amazing pills that can help lower our blood pressure and also surgeries that can actually bypass clogged arteries. But if we take a closer look at the demographics of Quadrant 3, you may find that a fairly large percentage of them are actually living a fairly miserable life. That's because they may be on a restricted diet or their bodies are failing them and they need daily constant support for just normal activities. Simply put, they may live longer than previous generations, but their quality of life is worse, and this is just merely extending the suffering. This begs the question, what's the point of living so long if you're just going to be extending you being miserable? Japan is well known to be the country with the highest life expectancy. However, there was a recent article out by the South China Morning Post that did a survey that actually showed that Japan was the only country who actually did not want to live to 100. And that is because when they were asked to share their opinions, they felt like that they were very pessimistic about their older selves and that they would be placing a really big burden on the people around them. This survey comes as a stark contrast to the popular belief that may you live long and prosper, and we have to address this disconnect. If you actually look at quadrant 3 and we actually move up to quadrant 4, then we actually do get a long and prosperous life. Looking at another graph, with still the quality of life being on the y-axis and the lifespan being on the x-axis, and instead we chart one's lifespan from birth to death, then you will start to see that there's still moments of ups and downs. Having a low, long line is like having a long, miserable life. And that's not exactly what we want. But we don't actually want a high, sharp, but short line either, as mentioned previously. So we can all agree then, having a high quality of life for as long as possible is actually the ideal scenario. And this is, in other words, maximizing the area under the curve. Or simply, it's just about maximizing one's quality of life. Living a life that's healthy will help extend one's life. That's quadrant 3. But also knowing what you value in life and having the capacity to actually do it will enrich that life, having a high quality of life for a long time, and that's quadrant 4. And so if you are healthy, then you actually have more capacity to indulge in the fun things in life. So going back to the example of my client, if he actually ate healthy most of the time and actually trains, then he will be able to drink wine. Maybe not one glass of wine every meal, but at least weekly. And he can be doing that for a long time to come. As modern medicine continues to improve and healthier lifestyles progress, then you will see lifespans will continue to extend even past your 10th decade. According to the Office of National Statistics, if you were born in the UK in 1971, you have a 50% chance of making it to your late 80s. But if you were born in 1991, then you can actually make it up to your early 90s. So if you're 45 years old today, then you're really only just halfway through your lifespan. Why not think about maximizing the area under the curve instead of having short-term thinking? I'm going to leave you with one last quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson, and that is, "The first wealth is health." That's it for today's video. I hope you found that helpful, and as always, please leave any questions or comments below, and I'll see you next time.